Private university, a luxury toy or a ticket to a global future. When clients come to me for study abroad consultations, I often hear the same request wrapped in doubt. We're only considering public universities. What about private ones? Well, that's a bit unserious, right? You pay money and get a degree but zero knowledge. For example, in the post-Soviet space, the phrase private university has a lot of stereotypes. Expensive, not serious for those who didn't manage to get a budget-funded place. But let's take an honest and unbiased look at the global educational system. How much of this is true and which part of it is just a label that could cost a child their career prospects? Let's be straight. If your ambition is not just a piece of paper but a high-quality education, if you're aiming for the world's top universities, get ready for a surprise. The leaders in all global rankings are private universities. Harvard, Stanford, MIT, Princeton, Yale, Columbia. They are the ones setting the quality standards, not the other way around. And it's not just about the price. That would be too simplistic. Why do private universities dominate in science? Well, resources and freedom. First and most obvious, private universities have more money. That's obvious, right? Why should we care about Harvard having a lot of money? Let me tell you. That money isn't just sitting idle in a bank. It turns into opportunities for you right here and now. Look at my recent footage from the University of Exeter. Notice its labs, research centers, technical equipment in the lecture halls. These students have everything they need for experiments and development, simply because the university can afford it. And if it doesn't have money, you won't have modern equipment or the chance to work with cutting-edge technology while you're still a student. Money isn't just about buildings and equipment, is it? Large budgets allow universities to fund large-scale research, and those who do the research set the global standards of science. Private universities are knowledge factories. This is where they make discoveries, write textbooks, and create technologies that will be used in 10 years. Flexibility versus bureaucracy. Where a private university is faster, the main difference is management flexibility. Public universities are like massive ships that take a long time to turn. They need to coordinate curricula with ministries, go through endless bureaucratic procedures just to change a program or, for example, decide what color the textbook cover should be. By the time they get the green light, the market might have already changed. Due to their independence, private universities adapt instantly. It's not just an alternative to public education, it's a more modern and market-driven version. This thing is not new for Europe, by the way. There, people choose private universities for a specific outcome. Look at Webster University, Instituto Europeo de Design Business School. Their graduates are valued by employers equally, and sometimes even more than graduates from classic public universities. And why is that? Because their programs are closely tied to real industry. Internships aren't just a box to tick, they're built into the curriculum. Environment, individual attention, public versus private universities. Let's come down from the heights of science to the ground of daily life. What is the difference for a student specifically? Private universities update curricula faster. New fields like neuromarketing or data science, basically everything we want to study now, appear here much earlier than in the public sector. The faculty are practitioners, not theorists reading from lecture notes yelled in the 90s, but people who are currently working in the industry, launching startups and know the inner workings. Forget lectures in huge halls of 300 people where the lecturer might never even learn your name. In private universities, groups are small. You have direct contact with the professors who can ask a question, debate, discuss the idea, go for a pint as well. They'll assign you a personal tutor who'll monitor your academic process, and this is invaluable, especially for international students adapting to a new country and language. I mentioned the career zone at Exeter earlier. Check out my review. This isn't a dull bulletin board in the hallway, it's a full-fledged business cluster, a true business partner for the student. They'll help you with your resume, find an internship at a great company, and map out your career path. In private universities, employment isn't about banging your head against every company's door. It's actually a strategic goal of the university itself to ensure a student gets an internship. Who are private universities looking for? This is perhaps the most important point for parents who worry that their child isn't a straight-A student, and that's probably 90% of parents. For private universities, applicants are much more than just dry numbers and grades. They're interested in the personality and Who told you about this in school? What do they assess? Motivation, personal projects, entrepreneurial spirit, willingness to try and fail. If your child builds a drone in the garage, organized a cycling community, or runs a blog with 1,000 followers, he has a huge advantage. In the public system, if a child gets a C in chemistry, it can overshadow all their real achievements. Private university will give them a chance because they'll see potential for growth elsewhere and not just look at the GPA. In private universities, you might hear, "We don't care what grades you came with, we care what knowledge you'll leave with." The cost of studying at a private university abroad. We've come to the main fear: money. Yeah, private education often costs more, but not always. Now let's look at this not as an expense, but as an investment with clear terms. At a public university, you're often paying for the fact of being a student for the name on the diploma, plus add the inevitable costs on tutors to catch up on grades and the first unpaid internship after graduation to gain experience the university didn't provide. At a private university, you're paying for service and results. You're buying access to labs, to top-notch professors, international internships, and a career elevator. Such a university often pays off much faster because you enter the job market not as a green newcomer but as a ready specialist with a project portfolio. And now a plot twist. Around the world, from Asia to Europe and beyond, there are universities where tuition will be cheaper than you would expect. For example, a university in Malaysia. Looking good, right? And there is Malaysia itself. It's a 4-hour drive from Singapore, which is considered an Asian economic miracle. And this is just one example. One of the most important bonuses on private universities that schools don't talk about. Schools, unfortunately, are firmly embedded in the system, the public system. And no one will tell you that if you enroll in a private university, especially abroad, you'll have a new environment and also some sort of networking. Your child won't study with just anyone, they'll be with ambitious peers who also set high goals for themselves. These are future business partners, colleagues, friends for life. Connections made in university often work more effectively than any diploma. Next time you hear the phrase private university, don't think of it as buying a degree. Think of it as buying access to cutting-edge knowledge, modern labs, international internships, and a powerful network of business contacts. The question isn't about where it's cheaper, it is what your child will become 5 years after graduation. Will they have an honors degree but no idea what to do with it or where to find a job? Or will they become a professional with experience, connections, and a clear vision of their future? Of course, a private university doesn't guarantee success, but it is a reliable express elevator toward it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this and found it helpful, hit like, visit our website maps.com, where our consultants can give you any advice on studying abroad. We're waiting for you.